Welcome to my ultimate guide to starting out on a vegan or plant-based diet. And whether you're a complete beginner or whether you've been plant-based for many years, I'm sure there's going to be something in here that is going to support you, inspire you, or maybe help you to look at something you might have been missing. I'm a nutritionist and I've also been vegan for more than 5 years. So I've been through a lot of these things myself. So these are a balance of the top evidence-based tips, as well as my own things that I've found to be very powerful and helpful in this journey. So whether you're wanting to just include a few more plants on your plate or go fully plant-based or vegan, and whether you're wanting to experience health benefits, support the environment, or honor your compassion and stop eating animal products, or a mixture of all of these different things, this guide is going to support you in eating plant-based in the best way possible for your health, making sure that you're getting all of the nutrients you need in great amounts, nourishing your body, helping you to feel amazing, full of energy and glow from the inside out. So these are some of the biggest things that I've learned in my journey to becoming a nutritionist, as well as things that I've picked up along the way in my own journey, and also some of the most common things that I see other people struggling with. So let's get into it. The first one is to consider the 8 nutrients of focus on a plant-based diet. So to start, let's just say if you're eating a vegan or plant-based diet that's centered around mostly whole plant foods, you're eating a very nutrient-dense diet that's supplying your body with the essential nutrients you need to build, grow, maintain, produce energy, and feel good. However, there are some nutrients that it's important to pay a bit more attention to on a plant-based diet, and in this list there are actually many that apply to everyone. But they're also especially important for people eating a plant-based diet, or if you just want to make sure you're getting all of the nutrients that you need in your diet. So the first one is vitamin B12. Because of our modern food system, it's quite low in food and it's only found in animal-based foods. If you're eating meat, for example, the animals are also supplemented with B12, so eating meat is a very roundabout and inefficient way to meet your B12 needs. The best way to make sure that you're getting enough B12 is to just supplement. This really isn't one that you want to mess around with. B12 deficiency can be quite severe and lead to brain and nervous system damage, so you really want to make sure you're getting enough. I recommend getting a blood test and working with a nutritionist or a dietitian to make sure that you're at the right level. But in general, you want to be supplementing from 50 to 250 micrograms per day, or you can do one big weekly dose of 2,500 micrograms. I personally find it easier to just do it once a week. The next one is omega-3. Omega-3 is an essential fatty acid, meaning that we need to take it in through our diet. Our bodies can't produce it. Omega-3s are important for our skin health, our cardiovascular health, and especially our brain health, because our brains are largely made out of these omega-3 fatty acids. On a plant-based diet, you can get a good intake of omega-3 if you're eating things like flax seeds, chia seeds, hemp seeds, and walnuts. They're all amazing sources of plant-based omega-3. It's important to note our body has to convert these shorter chain omega-3 molecules into longer ones, and this process can be quite inefficient. So you can eat enough in your diet and that's probably going to be okay for you, but it can also be a bit of an insurance policy. You can supplement some of the long chain omega-3 molecules, EPA and DHA. You've probably heard of it coming from fish oil, but fish actually get it from algae, so you can supplement directly from algae oil. Eating fish can be helpful for people, but it is a little bit of an inefficient way to get your omega-3s. The next one is vitamin D3. This is another one for everyone. Many people are below the optimum levels of vitamin D, especially in winter and in our modern society where we're just not spending time outside in the sun. Vitamin D is called the sunshine vitamin because our body makes it when we come in contact with the sunshine on our skin. So obviously in winter there's not as much sun, or if we're spending a lot of time indoors, we're not getting out into the sunshine, we might be low. So this is another one that you can check on a blood test, but it can also be pretty safe to just supplement yourself. Personally, I only supplement in winter, but depending on where you are, if you're in quite a northern or southern latitude, you might like to supplement all year round. A dose for that could be between 1,000 to 2,000 IU per day. Calcium is another nutrient to be aware of on a plant-based diet. In certain foods like soy and other beans, some nuts, seeds, like sesame seeds, and dark leafy greens like broccoli are great sources of plant-based calcium, but you can also get plant-based milks that have been supplemented with calcium, or if you're making your own plant-based milk, you can get red algae powder, which is a natural source of calcium that you can fortify your own plant-based milks with to make sure you're getting enough calcium. Selenium. This is another one that many people are low in because many soils around the world are relatively deficient in it, so it's just not in our food. But this is an easy one to fix. You can eat just 1 to 2 Brazil nuts a day to meet your recommended daily intake. And selenium's super important. It's part of the master antioxidant in our body, glutathione, which is super important for our immune system, detoxification, and supporting inflammation and our overall health. The next one is iron, and yes, while you can get enough iron on a plant-based diet, for certain people it's something that they might struggle with. So focusing on iron-rich foods like whole grains, legumes, and dark leafy greens. And did you know that eating vitamin C with iron-rich foods actually helps to boost absorption? The same with eating garlic and onions with them. So have a think about that when creating your next meal. And if you are struggling with your iron levels, there are also certain things like the tannins in coffee and tea that can inhibit absorption. So if you are wanting to boost your iron levels up, you might like to avoid your tea or coffee for half an hour before or after a meal to make sure you're absorbing as much iron as you can. The next one is zinc. And you can get enough zinc on a plant-based diet. It's in a lot of whole grains, nuts, seeds, and legumes. So focus on including lots of zinc-rich foods in your diet. The final one being iodine, and this is another one that's commonly low in the population because it's not in very high levels in our soil. It's very rich in seafood and seaweed, but not a lot of people are eating these sorts of foods as well. It's been added to iodized salt as a public health initiative to try and boost the iron levels of the population, which is quite effective. But to make sure that you're getting enough iodine, I recommend taking a supplement. Some people get it from seaweed, and for example, one sheet of nori, like from sushi, can have approximately 100% of your recommended daily intake. There's also other seaweeds like dulse flakes that you just need a few and you can quite easily meet your intake. But the problem with seaweed is, depending on the time of year, where it's been harvested, it can be very variable in its iodine levels. So the safest way to make sure you're getting your iodine intake is to just supplement. It's very easy to do. So now we've got all of the nutrients out of the way, let's get into the next tip, which is to focus mostly on whole foods. This is something that I see a lot. You can be vegan and you only eat chips and Coca-Cola, for example, because they are both vegan. But that doesn't mean that you're healthy. Just because you're vegan doesn't say anything about whether you're healthy or not. So it's important to add this distinction in here. If you're wanting to eat a healthy dietary pattern in general is something that includes a lot of whole, unprocessed foods. And you can do that on a vegan diet, you can do that on any diet, whatever you're including. Make sure you're including lots of fresh fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, legumes, and whole grains, because these are the nutrient-dense foods that are going to give you the nutrition that you need. They have fiber, they're full of fiber that feeds the beneficial bacteria in our gut, supporting our microbiome, helping us to feel good, lowering our risk of many different diseases. And along with that, it's important to be aware of protein. And our modern society has quite an obsession with protein. And no, you're not going to die of a protein deficiency on a vegan diet. I'm still here. But it is important to be aware of the protein that we're eating in our foods, because protein is a very satiating macronutrient. And that's a problem that I see a lot of people have on a plant-based or vegan diet. They eat food and they don't really feel full or satiated afterwards. And this might be because they've come from eating their meat and 2 veg, and now they're just eating their 2 veg. They're not including some protein. So making sure you're eating balanced plant-based meals that contain sources of these different food groups. So we're wanting fruits and vegetables, we're wanting some protein, we're wanting some healthy fat, maybe some whole grains for some whole carbohydrates that are going to give us slow releasing energy to support us feeling energized and good throughout the day. When I'm creating my own meals, I just think of these sort of things. Some complex carbohydrates, some healthy fats, and some protein. And there's a link to a full article on my website about this video where I've gone into more detail on these foods if that's something that you think can support you. Relating into this is another issue that I see a lot of people having on a plant-based diet, which might be not feeling as energized as they were. And part of this could be because if you're eating a lot of whole foods, they aren't as calorie dense as processed foods or animal-based foods. So you might need to eat a little bit more volume than you were eating before. Because a lot of people, they continue eating the same volume, but the food's less calorie dense, so they're actually eating less calories. This can be great if you're wanting to lose weight, and many people experience amazing weight loss when switching to a more plant-based whole food diet. But if you aren't wanting to lose weight, if you're an athlete or you need more energy, you might need to eat more food. And I know I'm a very active person. I eat a lot of food. And it's amazing if you create good food that you enjoy and you can eat a lot of it and support your body and feel energized and know that you're nourishing yourself with these amazingly nutritious foods. So my next tip, if you're transitioning to a more plant-based diet or you're wanting to go vegan, there's different ways that work for different people. You have to find what works for you. Some people might like to go cold turkey and give everything up all at once, throw out everything in their fridge and their pantry, go out to the supermarket and buy all vegan, whole foods, and do it like that. Other people might like to take it more slowly. You might just start by having a vegan breakfast or a dinner, 1 dinner per week. Whatever it is, including more whole foods in your diet is going to have an amazing benefit on your health. I know for me, before I was vegan, I was vegetarian for a year. So I kind of was getting to grips with making dietary changes, finding out what worked, what didn't, what foods I liked, what foods I didn't like, and I was able to make that transition much more easily. So don't be hard on yourself if you're not quite where you want to be. Just take it one step at a time, constantly moving in that direction where you want to be. And before you know it, you might be looking back like I am 5 years later and being like, wow, I've come so far and I know so much now. But everyone's different, so find the approach that works for you. So the next one is dealing with friends, family members, and social situations. And this one can be a little bit challenging. For example, if you're going out to a dinner, what do you say? This is going to come down to your own individual beliefs and what you want to do. Maybe you're a more flexitarian approach and you generally eat plant-based by yourself, but maybe you're a bit more flexible when you go out with friends and family. Maybe you're like me, you do it respectfully, but you have to be that person that says, I am vegan. These are my beliefs, this is what I stand for, and I'm not going to eat those foods because da 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 da. So here it's important to educate yourself as much as you can, knowing your why. Why are you doing this? Are you doing it to reduce suffering from animal farming and that's something that you don't want to participate in? Are you doing it for your health? Are you doing it for the environment? Because these methods of production are very unsustainable and incredibly damaging to our planet. Whatever it is, connecting back to that why, remembering why you're doing it, will empower you to be able to be that person that can stand by your values, to lead as an example. If you're the first person in your family, friend group, or whatever that's doing this, that's come in contact with this information, it can be challenging, but just remember to be patient with people. Be a positive example that people look at and be like, wow, they're doing so well. They look so healthy, they're so energized, and maybe then they'll ask you and want to engage with you. You might find if you're trying to just tell people and ram your views down their throat that they don't want to listen. We're humans, we don't want to be told we're wrong, and I know it can be very hard once you find out all of this information. You want to share it with the world, you want everyone to know it, but not everyone's ready to hear it. So be a positive example and you might see people open up, and it's actually a much more effective way to communicate. And finally, stay inspired on your journey. If you have friends, family, or people in your area, that's amazing. If you don't, follow people online, people that are sharing recipes, lifestyle tips, nutrition education, whatever it is, things that can help you to stay inspired, improve your knowledge, helping you to make healthier choices for your health, for the animals, for the planet. In the article that I've got in the description as well, I've listed my favorite people that I recommend following. I've got a good list of people in there if you need some further inspiration. And keep your food interesting. Try new cuisines from different countries, try new flavors, try different spices. Included in my list, I've got a lot of people that are sharing amazing recipes. I'm also sharing recipes online on my website and on Instagram as well. I've got a link to that in the description too. There's so many amazing resources out there to support you on your journey. And you can also try to meet new people. Connect with local vegan groups in your area. A yoga studio I used to work at, we did a monthly plant-based potluck. Those sorts of things are a great thing to go to meet new people and try new foods and make new connections. It's important to connect with the community, whether that is online or whether it's in person, because community is so important. It helps us to remain inspired and feel that sense of purpose with what we're doing. It's amazing to share that with other like-minded people. And finally, as I talked about before, remember your why. Keep that inside, that point of inspiration, because at some points it might be challenging. When you're with family, you're with friends, whatever it is, or maybe you see your old favorite food, but being able to remind yourself why you're making these changes. Don't focus on what you're excluding, focus on all of the amazing new foods that you can include that are supporting your health, moving you towards your goals, nourishing your body with amazing nutrition. And if you enjoyed this video, but you're wanting to include more plant-based foods in your diet, but you maybe struggle with your digestion, check out this video where I share my top evidence-based tips for supporting your gut health and getting to the point where you can eat these amazing, nutrient-dense, nutritious whole foods.